The twin suns of New Haven cast long shadows across the agricultural domes as the morning shift began. Tom Harris wiped sweat from his forehead and checked the water pressure gauges one more time. Everything looked normal. Everything was always normal on New Haven. "Dad, are you coming to my school play tonight?" His daughter's voice crackled through his comm device. Tom smiled. "Wouldn't miss it, sweetie. Mom's making dinner after, right?" She promised cake too. The colony had been his home for 6 years now. 8,000 people living quiet lives on the edge of known space. They grew food, mined minerals, and dreamed of Earth, a planet most of them had never seen. It was peaceful. It was safe. Commander James Reed stood in the defense garrison watching the morning reports scroll across his screen. Nothing ever happened here. His 12 soldiers spent most of their time helping with repairs and training for threats that never came. Sometimes he wondered why they even maintained a garrison at all. His second officer, Lieutenant Mark Peters, walked in carrying coffee. "Another exciting day in paradise, sir." Reed laughed. "The most dangerous thing we'll face today is boredom." He had no idea how wrong he was. The sensors detected them first. 6 massive ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the system's edge. Reed's computer flagged them immediately. "Unknown configuration, unknown origin. Get me a comm line," Reed ordered, his relaxed mood evaporating. "Standard greeting protocol." Peters worked the console. "Channel open, sir." "Unknown vessels, this is New Haven Colony. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. We mean no harm." Silence. Reed tried again. "This is Commander James Reed of the Human Colonial Defense Force. You are approaching a civilian settlement. Please respond." The ships kept coming, accelerating toward the planet. "Sir, they're not answering any hails," Peters said, his voice tight. "And they're moving fast." Reed's instinct screamed danger. "Sound the alarm. Get everyone to the shelters now." The warning sirens wailed across New Haven. In the agricultural domes, workers looked up in confusion. In the residential sectors, parents grabbed their children. They had drilled for this, but no one really believed it would happen. Tom Harris heard the sirens and his blood went cold. He abandoned his post and ran toward the residential dome. "Lisa, Emma!" he shouted into his comm. "Get to the shelter!" His wife's voice came back, steady despite the fear he could hear underneath. "We're heading there now." "Where are you?" "I'm coming. Just get Emma safe. I'm right behind you." The alien ships entered orbit. They were massive, dark vessels covered in angular armor plating. No lights, no markings, nothing that suggested peaceful intent. Reed watched them on his screens. His 12 soldiers gathered around him. "Raise shields. Charge the defense batteries." "Sir, our shields won't hold against ships that size," Peters said quietly. "I know, but we do our job anyway." Reed opened a colony-wide channel. "This is Commander Reed. Unknown hostile forces are in orbit. All civilians proceed to emergency shelters immediately. This is not a drill. Defense forces prepare for engagement." The first shot came without warning. A lance of purple energy struck the northern agricultural dome. The structure exploded, vaporizing instantly along with 200 people inside. The shockwave shattered windows across half the colony. Tom was thrown to the ground by the blast. His ears rang. Through the smoke and chaos, he could see people running, screaming. A second shot hit the mining facility. Then a third struck the water processing plant. His workplace now a crater of twisted metal. "They're just firing," Peters shouted. "No demands, no communication, they're just killing us." Reed's face was stone. "Return fire. All batteries." The defense cannons fired, their shots like tiny sparks against the enormous ships. A few hit scorching armor, but doing no real damage. The aliens didn't even bother to dodge. Another energy blast destroyed the eastern residential dome. 3,000 people lived there. Tom watched it collapse, watched the atmosphere vent into space, watched his neighbors die in seconds. "Lisa," he screamed into his comm. "Emma, answer me." Only static. The aliens kept firing. Methodical. Precise. They weren't trying to conquer. They were trying to erase. Reed knew it was over. His garrison couldn't stop this. Nothing could. He grabbed a data core from his desk and began recording. "This is Commander James Reed, New Haven Colony. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. They gave no warning, no chance to surrender. They're exterminating us." An explosion rocked the garrison. Half the ceiling collapsed. Reed kept recording. 6 ships, configuration unknown. Purple energy weapons. They're destroying everything. His voice cracked. Someone needs to know what happened here. Someone needs to make them pay. Peters fired the last cannon until it melted. Sir, we have to evacuate. Where? Reed asked simply. The communication array exploded in the distance. Their last link to the rest of humanity, gone. The alien ships finished their orbital bombardment. Then they landed. Tom had made it to the underground water treatment facility, the old one abandoned years ago. He'd fallen through a broken dome seal and tumbled into the maintenance tunnels. Above him, he could hear the screams fading. He pulled up the security feeds on his handheld device. His hands shook so badly he could barely work the controls. The aliens were landing. Massive insectoid creatures in dark armor. They moved through the ruins with terrible efficiency, hunting survivors. Anyone they found, they killed. No prisoners, no mercy. Tom watched them execute a group of children who'd been hiding in a storage unit. He watched them burn the medical center with doctors still inside. He watched them kill and kill and kill. He turned off the screen. He couldn't watch anymore. For 3 days, Tom Harris hid in the dark. He had water from the treatment pools. No food, no light except his device. Above, he could hear the aliens moving, searching, destroying. He thought about Lisa, about Emma, about their last conversation. So ordinary, so normal. Cake. She'd promised cake. On the 4th day, the sound stopped. Tom waited another day before he dared to emerge. New Haven was gone. The domes were shattered. Bodies everywhere. The aliens had left. Their ships vanished as mysteriously as they'd come. Tom walked through the ruins like a ghost. He found his home, what was left of it. He found his neighbors. He found Commander Reed's body in the garrison rubble, still clutching a data core. 8,000 people. His entire world. Gone. Tom took the data core. He made his way to the shuttle bay, praying something still worked. One small maintenance shuttle had survived, damaged but functional. He didn't know how to pilot it. He didn't care. He entered the coordinates for the nearest human outpost, Freedom Station. 3 weeks away at maximum speed, the shuttle lifted off, leaving New Haven behind forever. Tom set the autopilot and collapsed. The ship's medical AI kept him alive, forcing nutrients into his system, treating his injuries. He drifted in and out of consciousness, haunted by memories, Emma laughing, Lisa's smile. The morning the suns rose and everything was normal. 3 weeks later, a human patrol ship detected the shuttle drifting near Freedom Station. They brought it aboard and found Tom barely alive inside. The patrol captain, a woman named Rita Cross, reviewed the data core while medics worked on Tom. Her face went pale as she watched the footage. The attack. The massacre. The complete annihilation of 8,000 civilians. Tom woke briefly as they carried him to medical. He grabbed Rita's arm with surprising strength. They killed everyone, he whispered. Everyone. Rita watched him slip back into unconsciousness. Then she looked at her second officer. Get this to Earth, fastest ship we have. And someone wake up the Admiral. What do we tell him? The officer asked. Rita's eyes were hard. Tell him humanity just went to war. The council chamber on Earth had not seen this many people in decades. Admiral David Stone stood at the center, his uniform crisp, his face carved from granite. Around him sat the representatives of 47 human colony worlds. Above them, the holographic display showed the ruins of New Haven. How many? Asked Council Speaker Maria Santos, though she already knew the answer. 8,000 confirmed dead, Stone replied. 1 survivor. Total destruction of all infrastructure. The attackers left nothing. The chamber fell silent. 8,000. An entire colony. Gone in hours. Representative Jack Miller from the outer colonies stood. Do we know who did this? We're calling them the Krill, Stone said. Based on recovered sensor data and the survivors' testimony. We've searched our databases. No previous contact. No warnings. No demands, he paused. They came to kill. Nothing more. What do they want? Santos asked. That's the problem, Stone said quietly. We don't think they want anything. The colony had no strategic value. Limited resources. No military presence worth mentioning. There was no reason to attack except to attack. A murmur ran through the council. Representative Anna Blake from New Terra spoke up. Have we tried to communicate? Perhaps this was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Miller cut her off. They bombed residential domes. They hunted down children. What kind of misunderstanding looks like that? Stone raised his hand for silence. We've sent diplomatic signals on every known frequency. No response. We've tried through the Galactic Trade Network, through the Vex intermediaries, through every channel we have. The Krill refuse all contact. What about the other species? Santos asked. The Vex, the Trell, the Merchants Guild? Surely they can help negotiate. The Galactic Council has issued a formal statement of sympathy, Stone said, his voice dripping with contempt. They've offered to mediate if both sides agree to talks. They've suggested we consider what we might have done to provoke this attack. The chamber erupted in angry shouts. Stone continued over the noise. The Vex ambassador suggested we may have violated some unknown Krill territorial claim. The Trell recommended we evacuate our outer colonies to avoid further incidents. The Merchants Guild has already suspended trade routes to our frontier worlds. Too dangerous, they say. So the galaxy expects us to just accept this? Blake asked, her earlier conciliatory tone gone. The galaxy, Stone said coldly, expects us to know our place. We're newcomers. We've only been in space for 200 years. The other species have been out here for thousands. They have rules, protocols, established hierarchies. He looked around the chamber. And one of those unspoken rules is that young species don't make waves. We're supposed to take our lumps and learn our lessons. Santos leaned forward. What lesson are we supposed to learn from 8,000 dead civilians? That we're weak, Stone said simply. That we're acceptable targets. That our lives don't matter as much as maintaining galactic stability. The silence that followed was different now. Colder. Harder. Miller spoke carefully. Admiral, what are you recommending? Stone took a deep breath. The Krill have 6 more fleets. We've tracked them through intelligence channels. They're methodical. After New Haven, they'll wait 3 months, then hit another target. Probably New Terra or Freedom Station. Both have larger populations. How can you be sure? Blake asked. Because this is what they do, Stone said. We found records. Over the last century, the Krill have destroyed 17 other colonies belonging to various species. Same pattern every time. No warning, total destruction. Then they move on to the next target. And every time the Galactic Council does nothing, they mediate. They sympathize. They suggest the victims provoked the attack somehow. Why haven't the other species stopped them? Santos asked. Because the Krill are strong, Stone said bluntly. Their military technology is advanced. Their ships are powerful. And most importantly, they only hit small targets, frontier colonies. Places that don't matter to the major powers. It's easier to let them operate than to risk war. But they attacked us, Miller said. That changes things. Stone's laugh was bitter. Does it? We're not a major power. We're barely a minor one. We have 47 colonies and a defense fleet designed to patrol trade routes and chase pirates. The Krill have an empire spanning hundreds of worlds. He paused. If we follow galactic protocol, we lodge a formal complaint. We accept mediation that goes nowhere. And in 3 months, they kill another 8,000 of our people. What's the alternative? Santos asked quietly. Stone activated a new hologram. It showed ship designs, fleet formations, production schedules. We go to war. Total war. Not a border skirmish, not a limited engagement, everything we have, everything we can build until the Krill Empire no longer exists. The chamber exploded again. Representatives shouted over each other. Blake stood, her face red. That's insane. We can't fight an empire. We'll be destroyed. We're already being destroyed, Stone shot back. Just slowly. One colony at a time. Miller raised his voice. Even if we wanted to fight, our fleet isn't designed for major warfare. We'd need years to build up. We have 3 months, Stone interrupted. Before they hit the next target. In 3 months, we can retrofit our existing ships, recall our scattered fleets, and start production on new weapon systems. It won't be enough to win quickly, but it'll be enough to make them bleed. Santos stood, commanding silence. Admiral Stone, you're asking us to commit species suicide. The Krill will crush us. Maybe, Stone acknowledged. But here's what I know about humanity. We've never been the strongest. We've never been the fastest or the smartest. But we're stubborn. When someone pushes us, we push back. And we don't stop pushing until either we're dead or they are. He pulled up images from New Haven. The destroyed domes. The bodies. These were civilians. Farmers, teachers, miners, children. They never threatened anyone. They just wanted to live their lives. And the krill killed them all because they could. Because it was easy. Because no one would stop them. Stone's voice dropped but somehow became more intense. If we don't fight, we're telling every species in the galaxy that human lives are cheap. That you can kill us without consequence. And then it won't just be the krill. It'll be every empire, every warlord, every pirate with a ship and a weapon. They'll come for us because we've shown them we won't fight back. And if we do fight, Blake asked, if we throw everything into this war and lose? Then we lose on our feet, Stone said. We lose fighting. We lose making them pay for every human life with 100 of theirs. We lose in a way that makes the next empire think twice before coming for us. He looked around the chamber. Our ancestors didn't crawl out of caves and cross oceans and reach for the stars, so we could roll over the first time someone hit us hard. They survived because they fought back, because they refused to accept extinction. Miller stood slowly. You're asking us to bet everything. I'm asking you to remember what we are, Stone said. Humans don't surrender. We adapt, we endure. We win wars we have no business winning because we're too stubborn to quit. Santos looked at the images of New Haven. She thought about 8,000 people who'd gone to sleep thinking they were safe. She thought about the little girl who'd never perform in her school play. The father who'd never see his daughter again. Show me the war plan, she said quietly. Stone pulled up the tactical displays. We start by recalling every ship. Every destroyer, every frigate, every patrol craft. We consolidate our forces at Firebase Alpha here. A star system lit up. It's our most heavily defended position. While we gather, we convert our civilian shipyards to military production. The Galactic Council will protest, Blake said. They'll say we're being aggressive. Let them protest, Miller cut her off. His earlier hesitation was gone. Let them complain while we build ships, Stone continued. We focus on weapons that level the playing field. The krill have better shields and stronger hulls, so we develop missiles that overwhelm their defenses. Kinetic weapons that can't be deflected. We fight smart, not strong. What about intelligence? Santos asked. We need to know where they are, what they're planning. Already working on it, Stone said. We have agents making contact with other species who've lost colonies to the krill. The Vex and Trell might not help officially, but there are individuals who've lost homes too. They'll share information. A younger representative named Paul Chen spoke up. Admiral, even with all this preparation, we're still talking about fighting an empire. Their numbers aren't everything, Stone said. Ask the British how their numbers helped against American colonists. Ask Napoleon how numbers worked in Russia. Ask any empire in history that thought they could crush a determined resistance. He smiled grimly. The krill are used to easy victories. They hit soft targets that can't fight back. They've never faced an enemy that refuses to quit. That's going to be their education. Santos called for a vote. All in favor of authorizing Admiral Stone's war plan? Hands rose. Not all at once. Some hesitated, but eventually, 42 of 47 representatives voted yes. It's done, Santos said. Admiral Stone, you have full authorization to prepare for war. God help us all, Stone saluted. God helps those who help themselves, Madam Speaker. We'll handle the rest. As the council adjourned, representatives gathered in small groups discussing the implications. Some were terrified, some were angry. All knew their lives had just changed forever. Miller caught up with Stone as he left the chamber. David, tell me honestly, can we actually win this? Stone was quiet for a moment. Jack, I don't know. The krill are strong, experienced, and ruthless. We're undertrained, under-equipped, and we've never fought a real war. He paused. But I do know this. They made a mistake at New Haven. They left a survivor. One man who saw everything they did. And now everyone knows what they are. How does that help us? Because now there's no confusion, Stone said. No debate about who the bad guys are. No moral ambiguity. The krill are monsters, and monsters need to be destroyed. That clarity is worth 100 ships, he looked at Miller. We're going to make them regret they ever heard the word human. Across the galaxy, in the dark heart of krill space, Fleet Commander Vec received the intelligence report about Earth's military buildup. He read it and laughed. The humans are preparing for war, he told his second. How amusing. Should we be concerned? His subordinate asked. Vec waved dismissively. They're insects. We'll crush them like we crushed their little colony. In fact, move up the timeline. Why wait 3 months? Let's hit their next target in 6 weeks. Show them what happens when lesser species get ideas above their station. Which target, Commander? Vec studied the star charts. Freedom Station. 20,000 humans. We'll make it quick. Then perhaps Earth itself will learn humility. He had no idea he'd just made the second worst decision of his life. The first was attacking New Haven. Freedom Station hung in orbit above a barren moon, a sprawling complex of docking rings and habitat modules. 20,000 people called it home. Traders, refinery workers, ship crews, and their families. It was humanity's gateway to the outer colonies. And now it was about to become a battlefield. Captain Rita Cross stood in the station's command center, watching the defense preparations with grim satisfaction. 2 weeks had passed since Tom Harris had arrived with his terrible news. 2 weeks since Earth had declared war. The galaxy thought humanity was insane. Rita was starting to think they might be right. Final count? She asked her tactical officer, Lieutenant Ben Foster. 42 ships, Foster replied. Every destroyer and frigate we could pull from patrol routes. Plus the station's defensive grid. He paused. It won't be enough, Captain. I know, Rita said quietly. But Admiral Stone needs time. We buy him that time here. The plan was simple and desperate. Intelligence suggested the Krill would hit Freedom Station next. Instead of evacuating, Earth had turned it into a trap. Every ship, every weapon, every trick they had, all focused on one goal. Make the Krill pay. Dr. Sarah Kim worked frantically in the weapons lab, putting final touches on the new missile systems. The design was crude but effective. Overwhelm enemy shields with sheer numbers. Quantity over quality. Very human. Will they work? Her assistant Mark asked nervously. They'll work once, Sarah said. Maybe twice. The Krill aren't stupid. They'll adapt. But the first time we use them? She smiled coldly. They're going to be very surprised. In the residential sectors, civilian volunteers helped load families onto the few transport ships available. Not everyone could evacuate. Most would shelter in the station's reinforced core, praying the defenses held. A mother clutched her son, refusing to board. I won't leave without my husband. He's on the defense crew. Rita approached gently. Ma'am, if you stay, you're risking your child. If I leave, I might never see my husband again, the woman replied. We stay together. Rita didn't argue. She understood. After New Haven, everyone understood. Family meant something different now. Tom Harris stood in the observation deck staring at the stars. 2 weeks in medical care had healed his body. His mind was another matter. He couldn't sleep without seeing Emma's face. Couldn't eat without remembering Lisa's cooking. You should evacuate, Rita said, finding him there. No, Tom said simply. I ran once. Hid while my world died. Not again. You survived. That's not running. Feels like it, he turned to her. I want to help. I'm not a soldier, but I can fix things. Maintain systems. Whatever you need, Rita studied him. He was broken inside, anyone could see that. But he was also determined. And determination was something they needed. Engineering Bay, Deck 7, she said. Report to Chief Davis, we can use every hand we've got. Tom nodded and left. Rita watched him go, wondering how many more broken people this war would create. The Krill fleet arrived 3 days later, dropping out of faster-than-light travel exactly where intelligence predicted. 6 massive warships, same configuration as the vessels that destroyed New Haven. Alarms blared across Freedom Station. Crews rushed to battle stations. Civilians huddled in shelters. Ships powered up weapons. Rita opened a comm channel to all vessels. This is Captain Cross. You all know what's at stake. The Krill think we're weak. They think they can kill us without consequence. Today we teach them they're wrong. On the bridge of the lead Krill ship, Commander Vec watched the human station with amusement. They're not running. How brave. Their ships are forming a defensive line, his tactical officer reported. 42 vessels, various classes. 42? Vec laughed. We could destroy twice that number. Open fire when in range. Let's finish this quickly. The Krill ships advanced, their purple energy weapons charging. They'd done this 17 times before against various species. It was always the same. The defenders fought briefly, realized they couldn't win and either fled or died. Simple. Efficient. What happened next was neither. As the Krill entered weapon range, Rita gave the order. Launch everything. From 42 human ships, thousands of missiles erupted into space. Not the standard torpedoes the Krill expected. These were smaller, faster, and there were so many of them that they blotted out the stars. What is this? Vec demanded as his screens filled with incoming projectiles. Evasive maneuvers, his tactical officer shouted, activating point defense. The Krill ship's automated defenses fired, destroying hundreds of missiles, but hundreds more got through. They swarmed over the lead ship, detonating against shields in rapid succession. Each explosion was small, but together they created a cascading effect. The lead ship's shields flickered and failed. Impossible. Vec stared in disbelief. Our shields don't fail. They do now, Rita said, though he couldn't hear her. Fire kinetic batteries. Target the lead ship. Magnetic accelerators launched solid metal slugs at incredible velocity. No shields to stop them now. The projectiles punched through the Krill ship's hull, tearing massive holes in its armor. Vec's ship shuddered. Damage reports flooded in. Engineering compromised. We've lost main power to weapons. For the first time in his career, Vec felt something unfamiliar. Fear. All ships concentrate fire on the human station, he ordered. Destroy it. The 5 remaining Krill warships opened fire. Purple energy beams lanced across space, striking Freedom Station's shields. The barrier held for precious seconds, then collapsed. Direct hits tore into the outer ring. Rita felt the station shake. Explosions echoed through the hull. Damage report. Sections 12 through 18 are gone, Foster said, his voice tight. 300 casualties. Shields at 20%. Reroute power from life support in damaged sections. Keep those shields up. In engineering, Tom worked alongside Chief Davis, desperately rerouting power conduits. We're losing containment in Reactor 2. Shut it down, Davis ordered. Divert everything to shields and weapons. If we shut down Reactor 2, we lose life support in half the station. If we don't, we lose the whole station. Do it. Tom's hands flew over the controls. Around him, the engineering bay groaned and buckled. A conduit exploded, throwing sparks. An engineer screamed as flames engulfed her workstation. Tom grabbed a fire suppressor, dousing the flames. He pulled the injured woman clear, then went back to work. No time to think. No time to feel. Just work. Above, the battle raged. Human ships darted between the massive Krill vessels, firing everything they had. They were faster, more maneuverable, but so much smaller, like wolves attacking bears. The destroyer Defiant made a suicide run, ramming the damaged Krill flagship. The collision obliterated both ships in a massive fireball. Rita watched crew members she'd known for years die in an instant. All ships fall back to defensive formation Beta. We can't trade ship for ship, we'll lose. But the Krill weren't interested in tactics anymore. They were angry. Vec transferred his command to another ship and ordered a full assault. Destroy everything. Leave nothing alive. The Krill ships pressed forward, absorbing damage, taking hits but never stopping. They'd lost one vessel and damaged another, but they still had 4 fully operational warships. The mathematics were brutal. Captain, we can't hold, Foster said. We need to evacuate. Rita looked at the tactical display. He was right. They'd hurt the Krill, proved humans could fight back. But they couldn't win, not here. Not today. Begin evacuation, she ordered, the words tasting like ash. All non-essential personnel to the transports. Fighting ships provide cover. In the shelters, families rushed to escape pods. The mother who'd refused to leave earlier clutched her son, searching desperately for her husband in the chaos. Tom helped people into pods, directing traffic, keeping panic from becoming stampede. He saw a little girl, maybe Emma's age, crying for her father. He picked her up, carried her to safety, handed her to her mother. For a moment, he saw his own daughter's face. Then she was gone, and he was back in the present in the dying station, doing what he could to save what could be saved. The Krill ships closed in, firing relentlessly. Freedom Station broke apart piece by piece. Whole sections tore away, spilling atmosphere and people into the void. Rita remained on the bridge as her crew evacuated. All ships, this is Cross. Withdraw to the rally point. We've done what we can. Captain, you need to go, Foster urged. I'm staying until everyone else is off, Rita said calmly. That's an order, Lieutenant. Get to a pod. Foster hesitated, then saluted and ran. Rita watched her ships fall back, watched the transports flee with precious cargo of survivors. The Krill could have pursued, could have hunted them down. But Vec wanted the station. Wanted the symbol destroyed? Stupid, Rita muttered. You had a chance to finish this, but you wanted the kill more than the victory. She armed the station's self-destruct sequence. If Freedom Station was going to die, it would die on human terms. Tom reached the last escape pod with Chief Davis. "Get in," Davis ordered. "What about you?" "Someone needs to keep the power running until everyone's clear." "That's me, now go." Tom climbed into the pod as Davis sealed the hatch. Through the small window, he saw the chief salute, then turned back to his station. The pod launched, joining dozens of others fleeing the dying station. Rita activated the self-destruct with 5 minutes remaining. Enough time to reach a pod. Instead, she sat in her command chair and opened a general broadcast. "This is Captain Rita Cross of Freedom Station. To all Krill vessels. You came here to destroy us, to make an example. Well, you've succeeded. Freedom Station is lost." She paused. "But you lost too. You lost ships. You lost crew. And most importantly, you lost the easy victory. Every human in the galaxy now knows what you are. And every human in the galaxy is going to make you pay for New Haven, for Freedom Station, for every life you've taken." Vec heard the transmission and sneered. Brave words from a dying woman. "We're done running," Rita continued. "Done hiding. Done asking the galaxy for permission to exist. You wanted a war? You've got one. And we won't stop until every last one of you is dead or we are. Those are the only options now." She closed the transmission and looked at the countdown. 1 minute. "Lisa, Emma," she whispered, thinking of Tom's lost family. "And all the others. This is for you." The countdown hit 0. Freedom Station exploded in a brilliant flash, taking the nearest Krill ship with it in a final act of defiance. The blast wave damaged another vessel, sending it spinning out of control. Tom watched from his escape pod, tears streaming down his face. Another home destroyed. Another battle lost. But around him, in other pods on the retreating ships, something else was happening. People weren't crying. They were angry, furious, burning with rage at what had been taken from them. A young pilot on the destroyer Vengeance spoke for many when she said simply, "They're going to regret this." And across human space, on 47 colony worlds, the same sentiment echoed. The Krill had struck humanity twice now, had killed thousands, had proven they were powerful, but they'd also proven something else. They could be hurt. They could bleed. They could die. Admiral Stone received the reports from Freedom Station in his command center on Earth. 20,000 people had lived there. Fewer than 8,000 had escaped. The rest were gone. His aide waited for orders. Stone was quiet for a long moment, then spoke. "Accelerate the production schedule. I want every shipyard running 24 hours. Recall all diplomatic missions. We're done talking. And send a message to the fleet." "What message, sir?" Stone's eyes were cold. "No mercy. No prisoners. No retreat. The Krill wanted to see what happens when you push humanity too far. Let's show them." In Krill space, Vec reviewed the battle reports. They'd destroyed Freedom Station, achieved their objective, but they'd lost 2 ships and damaged a 3rd, against a supposedly weak enemy. His superior, High Commander Vex, was not pleased. "You told me this would be simple," Vex said coldly. "You told me the humans would fold like every other weak species." "They got lucky," Vex protested. "A surprise tactic, nothing more. Next time." "There won't be a next time for you," Vex interrupted. "I'm taking direct command, and I'm bringing the full fleet. 50 ships. We'll crush Earth itself and end this farce." Vec bowed his head, humiliated. Vec studied the star charts. "The humans think they've won some great victory. They hurt us, so they're proud. Let them enjoy it. In 3 months, when we arrive at Earth with our full strength, they'll learn what real power looks like." But Vex had made the same mistake as Vec. He assumed he was dealing with a normal species, one that would calculate odds, recognize superior force, and surrender. Humanity didn't work that way. 3 months. That was all the time Earth had to prepare for the largest battle in human history. 3 months to build ships, train crews, develop weapons, and prepare for what Admiral Stone was privately calling Armageddon. It wouldn't be enough time. Not nearly enough, but humans had never let impossible odds stop them before. Earth's orbital shipyards had never been so busy. Everywhere Admiral Stone looked, he saw construction. Warships taking shape, weapons being tested, crews drilling endlessly. Humanity was transforming itself into a war machine at breathtaking speed. "Production report," Stone said to his logistics officer. "Commander Helen Price, we've completed 32 new destroyers," Price replied. 18 more will be ready in 6 weeks. The heavy cruisers are behind schedule. We've never built ships that large before. We've never fought a war like this before, Stone said. Everything's new. What about the special projects? Price smiled slightly. Dr. Kim's missile systems are in mass production. We're also developing something else. Project Hammer. Kinetic bombardment weapons. Massive metal rods launched from orbit at near light speed. Expensive, Stone observed. Very, but they can't be stopped by shields or point defense. Pure kinetic energy. Price hesitated. Admiral, even with all this production, the numbers don't look good. Intelligence says the Krill are bringing 50 ships to Earth. We'll have maybe 70 by then. 70 against 50 should be good odds. Not when they're 50 or twice our size and 3 times our firepower. Price met his eyes. We need a miracle, sir. Then we'll make one, Stone said simply. Get me Dr. Kim and the tactical team. If we can't win with strength, we'll win with intelligence. Across the solar system on Mars, Dr. Sarah Kim worked in a fortified research facility. After Freedom Station's fall, she'd been evacuated to continue her weapons development. Now she stood before a prototype that made her both proud and terrified. The Nova bomb, she explained to the assembled military officers. A fusion device wrapped in antimatter containment. Theoretical yield, equivalent to a small star going supernova. Will it work? Asked Captain Jack Turner, one of Stone's senior tactical advisors. The physics is sound, Sarah said carefully. But we've never tested anything this powerful. The explosion could be unpredictable. How unpredictable? It might destroy everything in a 5 million kilometer radius, including us if we're too close. Sarah pulled up simulations. One bomb could take out multiple Krill ships, maybe their entire fleet if they're clustered together. Turner whistled. That's a lot of firepower. It's also incredibly dangerous to transport and deploy. One mistake and we vaporize our own forces. Sarah looked at the prototype. This weapon scares me. It should scare everyone. The Krill scare me more, Turner said bluntly. How many can you build? 3, maybe 4 in the time we have. But Admiral Stone needs to understand these aren't precision weapons. They're last resort. Desperation moves. That's exactly what we are, Turner said. Desperate. On the colony world of New Terra, the population prepared for the worst. Governor Lisa Chen addressed her people via planetary broadcast. Her face calm despite the fear she felt inside. The Krill may come here after Earth, she said. We're evacuating all non-essential personnel, but for those who stay, we're building defenses. Every able-bodied person will help. We're digging shelters, installing weapons, creating fallback positions. A farmer named Jake Wilson stood in the crowd listening. He'd come to New Terra to escape Earth's crowded cities to raise his kids in peace. Now he was learning to fire anti-aircraft weapons. Never thought I'd be a soldier, he muttered to his neighbor. Never thought aliens would try to kill us, his neighbor replied. Guess we're all learning new things. Jake thought about his 2 daughters safely evacuated to the inner colonies. He'd sent them away despite their protests. If the Krill came, he'd die protecting their home. But at least they'd live. All volunteers for defense training report to the Militia Center, Governor Chen announced. We fight for our world. We fight for our families. We fight because we're human and humans don't surrender. The physics is sound, Sarah said carefully. But we've never tested anything this powerful. The explosion could be unpredictable. How unpredictable? It might destroy everything in a 5 million kilometer radius, including us if we're too close. Sarah pulled up simulations. One bomb could take out multiple Krill ships, maybe their entire fleet if they're clustered together. Turner whistled. That's a lot of firepower. It's also incredibly dangerous to transport and deploy. One mistake and we vaporize our own forces. Sarah looked at the prototype. This weapon scares me. It should scare everyone. The Krill scare me more, Turner said bluntly. How many can you build? 3, maybe 4 in the time we have. But Admiral Stone needs to understand these aren't precision weapons. They're last resort. Desperation moves. That's exactly what we are, Turner said. Desperate. On the colony world of New Terra, the population prepared for the worst. Governor Lisa Chen addressed her people via planetary broadcast. Her face calm despite the fear she felt inside. The Krill may come here after Earth, she said. We're evacuating all non-essential personnel, but for those who stay, we're building defenses. Every able-bodied person will help. We're digging shelters, installing weapons, creating fallback positions. A farmer named Jake Wilson stood in the crowd listening. He'd come to New Terra to escape Earth's crowded cities to raise his kids in peace. Now he was learning to fire anti-aircraft weapons. "Never thought I'd be a soldier," he muttered to his neighbor. "Never thought aliens would try to kill us," his neighbor replied. "Guess we're all learning new things." Jake thought about his 2 daughters safely evacuated to the inner colonies. He'd sent them away despite their protests. If the Krill came, he'd die protecting their home. But at least they'd live. "All volunteers for defense training report to the militia center," Governor Chen announced. "We fight for our world. We fight for our families. We fight because we're human and humans don't surrender." Thousands volunteered. Farmers, teachers, miners, merchants, people who'd never held weapons before. They trained with desperate intensity, knowing they might be all that stood between their families and annihilation. Back on Earth, Tom Harris worked in the military shipyards. He'd requested assignment there after Freedom Station, needing to do something useful. Now he helped maintain the new warships, ensuring every system functioned perfectly. "You're good at this," Chief Engineer Robert Stone said, watching Tom diagnose a power coupling problem in minutes. "Had a lot of practice," Tom said quietly. "Kept New Haven running for 6 years." Robert heard the pain in his voice. Everyone knew Tom's story. The sole survivor. The man who'd lost everything. Some people whispered he was cursed. Others called him lucky. Tom called himself neither. "My daughter wants to join the Navy," Robert said suddenly. "She's 17. I told her to wait until she's 18, finish school first. But now..." He trailed off. "Now you're wondering if there'll be a future for her to wait for," Tom finished. "Yeah." Tom was quiet for a moment. "Let her choose. Don't make the decision for her." "If I'd known..." He stopped, swallowed hard. "If I'd known what would happen at New Haven, I'd have spent that last day with my family instead of fixing water pipes." "Let your daughter make her own choices while she still can." Robert nodded slowly. "Thanks, I will." They returned to work in silence, 2 men trying to save a world through the only way they knew how, keeping the machines running. In the Krill Empire, High Commander Vex prepared his armada. 50 warships, the largest fleet the Krill had assembled in decades. Crews trained. Weapons were tested. Victory seemed certain. "The humans are building ships frantically," his intelligence officer reported. "Our spies estimate 70 vessels by the time we arrive." 70? Vex laughed. 70 small ships against our armada? This will be a slaughter. Some of their vessels are larger than expected. New designs. Heavy cruisers, they call them. Irrelevant. Their technology is inferior. Their crews are inexperienced. They've fought 2 battles and lost both. Vex studied the tactical displays. "We'll jump directly into Earth's system, bypass their outer defenses, and strike at the homeworld itself. Once Earth falls, the other colonies will surrender." His second-in-command, a veteran warrior named Krell, wasn't so confident. "Commander, at New Haven and Freedom Station, the humans showed unexpected resilience. Their tactics were creative. Perhaps we should approach with more caution." "Caution?" Vex sneered. "We've conquered 17 species. The humans are nothing special. They got lucky twice. Luck runs out." Krell bowed his head but remained troubled. He'd reviewed the battle footage from Freedom Station. The human captain who'd stayed behind, broadcasting defiance until the end. The ships that rammed Krill vessels without hesitation. The civilians who fought alongside soldiers, that wasn't luck. That was something else. Something dangerous. But Vex was commander, and Vex had decided. The fleet would attack in 60 days. Admiral Stone gathered his senior staff in the war room. Around the table sat humanity's finest military minds and a few civilian scientists who'd proven invaluable. "Status report," Stone said. Captain Turner spoke first. "Fleet composition, 72 combat vessels. 30 destroyers, 24 frigates, 12 heavy cruisers, and 6 carriers with fighter squadrons, all equipped with the new missile systems and kinetic weapons." "Ground defenses?" Stone asked. "Orbital platforms around Earth, Mars, and the Moon," Commander Price said. "Plus the new defense satellites, automated systems that'll fire on anything that's not broadcasting friendly codes." Dr. Kim added, "The Nova bombs are ready. 3 completed, 1 more finishing this week. But Admiral, I must stress again, these weapons are extremely volatile. Using them near Earth is incredibly risky." "Everything about this war is risky," Stone said. But I hear you. The Nova bombs are last resort only. He pulled up a tactical display showing Earth's solar system. Here's the plan. The Krill will likely jump in here at the edge of the system. Standard invasion protocol. We'll meet them with our main fleet at Jupiter's orbit. Why Jupiter? Turner asked. 2 reasons. First, it's far enough from Earth that if things go badly, we have time for fallback positions. Second, Jupiter's gravity well is massive. We can use it tactically. Slingshot maneuvers, hide ships in the radiation belts, force the Krill to navigate carefully. Stone highlighted several positions. We'll divide our fleet into 3 groups. First group engages head-on, draws their attention. Second group flanks from Jupiter's moons. Third group, equipped with the Nova bombs, stays hidden until we can create maximum damage. And if they don't go to Jupiter? Price asked. If they jump directly to Earth? Stone's face hardened. Then we fight them here. Every ship, every platform, every weapon we have. We turn Earth's orbit into a graveyard. Theirs or ours. The room was silent. Dr. Kim spoke quietly. Admiral, even if we win this battle, the Krill Empire won't stop. They have hundreds of worlds, thousands of ships. This fleet is just the beginning. I know, Stone said. But here's what I'm counting on. The Krill have been bullies for centuries. They hit weak targets, take easy victories, never face real resistance. We're going to hurt them so badly that they'll hesitate before coming back. And that hesitation? That's what we need to build: real defenses, real alliances, a real future. You're betting everything on one battle, Turner observed. Not betting, Stone corrected. Choosing. The Krill made this fight inevitable when they destroyed New Haven. Now we decide how it ends. Either they learn to leave humanity alone, or we teach them such a painful lesson that everyone else in the galaxy learns it too. Jake Turner, no relation to the captain, spoke up. He was a civilian engineer who'd helped design the new cruisers. Admiral, permission to speak freely? Granted. Sir, I've done the math. Even with our new ships, the odds of winning are maybe 30%. Probably less. We're asking people to die for a long shot. Stone nodded. You're right. The odds are terrible, and I won't lie to anyone about that. Every person in our fleet knows they might not come back. He paused. But here's what the Krill don't understand. Humans don't fight because we think we'll win. We fight because losing isn't acceptable. We fight because our children deserve a future. We fight because giving up means extinction, and we'd rather die fighting than live on our knees. He looked around the table. So yes, the odds are bad. Yes, many of us will die. But 28,000 people are already dead. New Haven and Freedom Station. Their deaths have to mean something. And they'll mean something if we stand here at Earth and tell the Krill and every other empire in the galaxy. This far. No further. You can kill us, but you'll bleed for every human life you take. The room remained quiet, but the atmosphere had changed. Determination replaced doubt. We have 60 days, Stone said. Use them well. Train harder, build faster, prepare for the fight of our lives. Because in 60 days the Krill are coming, and we're going to show them what happens when you push humanity too far. The staff dispersed to their duties. Stone remained in the war room, staring at the tactical displays. Alone now, he allowed himself a moment of doubt. 72 ships against 50. New crews against veterans. Desperation against experience. He thought about the people counting on him. The families on Earth, the colonists on distant worlds. Tom Harris and others like him who'd lost everything. We can do this. Stone whispered to himself. We have to. Outside, Earth continued its frantic preparations. Ships launched from orbital yards. Soldiers drilled. Scientists worked impossible hours. Across 47 colony worlds, humanity prepared for survival. And in the dark between stars, the Krill fleet traveled toward Earth, confident in their power, certain of their victory. They had no idea they were about to collide with a species that had clawed its way to the top of one planet's food chain through sheer stubbornness, a species that had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and its own worst instincts. A species that, when pushed to the edge, didn't fall, it pushed back. The day arrived like any other. Sunrise over Earth, people waking, coffee brewing, children heading to school, except everything had changed. Above the planet, 72 warships hung in formation, their crews at battle stations. In bunkers across every continent, families huddled together. And in the outer system, sensors watched and waited. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of the heavy cruiser Defiance Hope, named for the destroyer that had rammed the Krill flagship at Freedom Station. Around him, his command crew worked with quiet efficiency. No panic, no hesitation. They'd trained for this moment for 60 days. "All ships report ready, sir," Commander Price said from the tactical station. Stone nodded. "Fleet-wide channel." Price activated it. Stone's voice carried to every ship, every station, every soldier preparing to fight. "This is Admiral Stone. In approximately 1 hour, the Krill fleet will arrive. They're bringing 50 warships and thousands of warriors. They expect to destroy us easily, just like they destroyed New Haven and Freedom Station. They think we're weak. They think we'll break." He paused. "They're wrong." On the destroyer Vengeance, the young pilot who'd survived Freedom Station listened, her hands steady on the controls despite her racing heart. "We're not fighting for territory or resources," Stone continued. "We're fighting for the right to exist. For our families. For every human who's ever looked at the stars and dreamed of reaching them. The Krill want to take that away. We won't let them." On Mars, in the underground bunkers, families listened. Parents held their children close. "Some of you will die today," Stone said, his voice heavy but firm. "I won't lie about that. War's terrible and unforgiving, but your sacrifice will matter. Because today we show the galaxy what humanity is made of. Today we draw a line and say, this far, no further." In the shipyards where Tom Harris worked, engineers and mechanics abandoned their tools to listen. "Remember what we're fighting for," Stone said. "Remember New Haven. Remember Freedom Station. Remember that we fight not because we hate what's in front of us, but because we love what's behind us. Our homes, our families, our future." He took a breath. "All ships, battle stations. May whatever gods you believe in watch over us. And may the Krill learn to fear the name humanity." Stone out. The channel closed. Across the fleet, people returned to their tasks with renewed determination. Stone turned to Price. "How long?" 42 minutes until projected arrival. "Activate Jupiter protocol. All ships to designated positions." The fleet split into 3 groups just as planned. The main force positioned itself in Jupiter's orbit. The flanking group hid among the gas giant's moons. And the strike team, carrying the 3 Nova bombs, concealed themselves in the planet's radiation belts. On New Terra, Governor Chen watched the tactical feeds in her command bunker. Earth was light years away, but everyone in human space was connected now, waiting to see if their species would survive the day. "They have to win," whispered her aide, a young woman named Rachel. Chen didn't answer. She'd seen the projections. Even victory would be costly. But defeat? That meant extinction. The minutes crawled past. Crews waited. Weapon systems hummed. In the medical bays, doctors prepared for casualties they hoped wouldn't come, but knew were inevitable. Tom Harris stood in the observation deck of the orbital platform above Earth, watching the fleet in the distance. He'd requested assignment here, wanting to see the battle, needing to see humanity fight back. A technician nearby noticed him. "You're Tom Harris. From New Haven." Tom nodded. "My sister lived on Freedom Station," the technician said quietly. "She didn't make it out." "I'm sorry," Tom said. "Don't be. Just make sure her death means something. Make sure we win." "We will," Tom said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. "We have to." The sensors screamed, "Contact!" Price shouted. "Multiple faster-than-light signatures. They're coming in at—" She paused, her face going pale. "Admiral, they're not appearing at the system's edge. They're jumping directly to Earth." Stone's blood went cold. "What?" 50 Krill ships arriving in Earth's orbit in 30 seconds. The entire tactical plan collapsed in an instant. The Krill had done the unexpected, bypassed Jupiter entirely and jumped directly to their target. The main fleet was out of position, too far away to engage immediately. "All ships emergency acceleration," Stone ordered. "Get to Earth now. Orbital platforms engage the enemy." Around Earth, the automated defense platforms opened fire. Missiles and kinetic rounds filled the space as the Krill fleet materialized. 50 massive warships appeared like demons from hell, their weapons already charging. High Commander Vex watched Earth below, a blue-green jewel ripe for conquest. "Target all orbital installations. Destroy them. Then we begin bombardment of the surface." The Krill fleet opened fire. Purple energy beams lanced down, striking defense platforms. Explosions blossomed in orbit as humanity's first line of defense died. But the platforms fought back, their automated systems firing everything they had. Tom watched from his platform as the battle erupted around him. A Krill ship fired. the beam passing so close he could feel the heat through the hull. The platform shuddered. "All personnel to escape pods," the facility commander ordered. "We're evacuated." "No." Tom grabbed the nearest weapon console. "We keep fighting." "We can't win against that." The commander pointed at the massive krill vessels destroying platforms one by one. "Then we buy time." Tom activated the targeting system, hands moving with desperate speed. He'd never fired weapons before, but the interface was surprisingly simple. Point and shoot. He fired. A kinetic round launched, striking a krill ship's hull. It barely scratched the armor, but Tom fired again and again. Around him, other personnel abandoned evacuation and returned to their stations. If they were going to die, they'd die fighting. The human fleet raced toward Earth at maximum acceleration, but it would take precious minutes to arrive. Minutes Earth didn't have. On the surface, people watched the sky light up with explosions. Parents pulled children away from windows. In the military bunkers, General Marcus Webb coordinated the ground-based defenses. "Launch the ground-to-orbit missiles," Webb ordered. "Everything we've got." From hidden silos across every continent, missiles streaked upward. They joined the orbital platform's fire, creating a storm of ordnance that the krill had to navigate. Vex watched his ships take damage from the surface weapons. Minimal damage, but annoying. "Deploy the assault ships. Land ground forces in major population centers. Kill everything that moves." Hundreds of smaller craft launched from the krill warships, diving toward Earth's atmosphere. They were met by human fighter squadrons scrambling from planetary air bases. The fighters were outmatched, but they attacked anyway. Pilots with families below fighting to protect them, they swarmed the assault ships, firing missiles, using their maneuverability advantage in atmosphere. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez flew her fighter straight at a krill assault ship 3 times her size. "For Freedom Station," she screamed, firing everything. Her missiles struck home, crippling the alien vessel. It spiraled toward the ocean, crashing in a spectacular explosion. But 3 more assault ships got through. They landed in major cities, New York, Shanghai, and London. Krill warriors poured out, massive insectoid creatures in powered armor, wielding energy weapons that cut through buildings like paper. In New York, police and military units engaged them in the streets. The krill were stronger, better armored, and experienced. But humans had home advantage. They knew every alley, every building, every hiding spot. Officer James Cooper fired his rifle from behind an overturned car. His bullets bounced off krill armor, useless. "We need heavier weapons." A squad of Marines arrived with anti-tank missiles. "Move aside!" the sergeant shouted. They fired, and this time the krill felt it. Warriors fell, their armor breached. But for every krill that died, they killed 5 humans. The streets ran red. In orbit, the human fleet finally arrived. "All ships engage at will," Stone ordered. "Show them what we've got." 72 human warships crashed into the krill formation like an avalanche. The new heavy cruisers opened fire with every weapon, their kinetic batteries hammering krill shields. The destroyers and frigates swarmed like angry wasps, fast and deadly. Dr. Kim's missile systems proved their worth. Thousands of small missiles overwhelmed krill point defenses, collapsing shields and allowing the kinetic weapons to strike home. A krill warship exploded, then another. Vex stared in disbelief as his invincible fleet began to take serious casualties. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "They've sacrificed everything for weapons and speed," his tactical officer reported. "Their ships have minimal armor, minimal shields. But their offensive capability, then destroy them," Vex roared. "All ships concentrate fire." The krill fleet turned its attention from the planet to the human fleet. The real battle began. Space became a hell of energy beams, missiles, and explosions. Ships died on both sides. The destroyer Vengeance took a direct hit, splitting in half. The young pilot who'd survived Freedom Station managed to eject, her pod tumbling through the debris field. The heavy cruiser Thor's Hammer rammed a damaged krill vessel, both ships exploding in a fireball visible from Earth's surface. Stone watched his fleet die ship by ship, but they were taking krill vessels with them. The numbers were shifting. 50 krill ships had become 42. The human fleet had dropped from 72 to 58. "Deploy the Nova bombs," Stone ordered quietly. Price hesitated. "Sir, we're too close to Earth. If they detonate—" "We're already dying," Stone said. "Either we use them or we lose." "Deploy now!" The 3 ships carrying the Nova bombs broke from the main battle, accelerating toward the densest concentration of krill vessels. Their mission was simple: Get close, arm the bombs, and detonate. Captain Anna Blake commanded the lead bomb ship, the Retribution. She'd volunteered for this mission knowing it was suicide. In her pocket was a picture of her family, evacuated to Mars. She'd never see them again. All power to engines, she ordered her skeleton crew. Get us right into the middle of them. The Retribution accelerated, krill fire tracking it. Energy beams scored the hull, tearing through armor. The ship shuddered but kept going. Arming Nova bomb, Blake said calmly, entering the sequence. Detonation in 60 seconds. Captain, we can still eject, her tactical officer said, and let the bomb miss. No, we see this through. The Retribution plunged into the center of the krill formation. 15 enemy warships surrounded it, firing from all sides. The ship was dying, systems failing one by one. 30 seconds, Blake counted. 20. 10. She closed her eyes, thinking of her children. I love you, she whispered. The Nova bomb detonated. For an instant, a new star was born. The explosion consumed the Retribution, 15 krill warships, and everything within 5 million kilometers. The blast wave expanded, a wall of pure energy and destruction. Even the human fleet kilometers away felt it. Ships rocked. Shields flickered. On Earth's surface, people saw a second sun appear in the sky. Brief and terrible. When the light faded, a quarter of the krill fleet was gone. Just gone. Vaporized in an instant. Vex stared at the empty space where his ships had been. What was that? The second Nova bomb ship approached. Retreat, Vex screamed. All ships retreat now. But the krill ships were too slow. The second bomb detonated, taking another 8 vessels. The surviving krill fleet, now down to 19 ships, broke formation and fled. They jumped to faster-than-light travel, abandoning the ground forces still on Earth, abandoning the battle, abandoning all pride. They ran. Stone watched them go, hardly believing it. Cease fire. Let them go. The human fleet hung in orbit, battered and broken. Of 72 ships, only 43 remained. But they'd won. Against all odds, they'd actually won. On Earth's surface, the abandoned krill warriors fought on until human forces overwhelmed them. It took hours, and the casualties were horrific, but one by one the aliens fell. Tom Harris stood in his damaged orbital platform, looking at Earth below. The planet was scarred, burning in places, but alive. Humanity had survived. We did it. The technician beside him whispered. We actually did it. Tom thought of Lisa, of Emma, of the 8,000 souls at New Haven who'd never see this day. It's not over, he said quietly. The krill will be back. Let them come, the technician said fiercely. We'll be ready. And across human space on 47 colony worlds, people celebrated. They'd faced extinction and survived. They'd fought an empire and won, but Tom was right. It wasn't over. In krill space, High Commander Vex returned home in disgrace. The Council of Lords stripped him of rank and sentenced him to death for losing the fleet. But before he died, he spoke one warning. You think this is over? The humans defeated one fleet. We have hundreds. They've made an enemy of the entire krill empire. They're doomed. The Council agreed. Plans were made. Larger fleets assembled. The krill would return with overwhelming force. But something had changed in the galaxy. News of Earth's victory spread. Other species, long intimidated by the krill, began to wonder. If the young humans could fight back successfully, maybe they could too. And on Earth, Admiral Stone stood before the remains of his fleet. We've won the battle, he told his officers. Now we prepare for the war, because the krill will come again. But next time we'll be ready, and we'll keep fighting until either they're gone or we are. How long do we have? Price asked. Stone looked at the tactical projections. Maybe a year. Maybe less. And if they bring 1,000 ships? Stone smiled grimly. Then we build 2,000. We're humans. We don't know when to quit. That's our greatest weakness and our greatest strength. Tom Harris requested transfer to the military shipyards. He would help build the next generation of warships. Ships that would carry humanity's fury to the krill homeworld itself. Because the krill had made a fundamental mistake. They'd thought humans were just another weak species to be bullied and destroyed. They'd thought fear would make humans surrender. They'd forgotten that fear can also make creatures dangerous. That pushing someone too far doesn't break them, it transforms them. Humanity had been pushed too far. And now they wouldn't stop until it was over. One way or another, the war had just begun.